Hi guys, I'm sitting in a resort in Cabo San Lucas, beautiful Mexico, a country that both Jeanette and I love and have visited many times. In this video, I'm going to come up with the top 10 countries that I considered most remarkable, enchanting, unforgettable that we have visited outside of North America. That is Canada, United States, Mexico, and the Caribbean. So I'm going to give you the order starting with 10, number 10, and work my way up to number 1. So I'll consider the beauty, the cuisine, the history, the overall enjoyment, and the test question, how did I feel? Now, this is my personal opinion. It has nothing to do with Jeanette's opinion, although I'm sure that she may share one or two of my choices. So here goes. I've selected as my number 10 the country of Turkey, previously known as Turkey, in the Mediterranean. Some of you have visited, I'm sure. I was really impressed by the vibrance in the capital, Istanbul, which used to be Constantinople, as you know. We were really quite taken by the number of food options there. We liked the kind of food anyway, Mediterranean food. We liked the sites that we visited. Some of them go back to the Byzantine Empire, the Ottoman Empire. But we really felt the vibrance, the sort of business acumen of the people. Everybody was hustling, trying to sell you something or to get you into their business. We also went to Ephesus, and that was a magnificent ancient site where much of the buildings, or many of the buildings, and much of the ambience was preserved, although it has only been partially excavated. But I consider Turkey a place well worth visiting, although we did not go to Cappadocia, but I tell you, it is an impressive country. And now number 9. For me, it was a toss-up between two countries. So I'll tell you my first choice in selecting was Greece, which has the history that impacted the Western civilization. We started in Marathon, where the famous battle was fought, and after which the famous foot race is named. Spent time in Athens and visited all the great sites. I went into the Peloponnese and went to Meteora up in the north. Magnificent country. And I especially loved how they cook squid. I remember visiting a great restaurant which was quite well known, and we found it in some travel guide where we were very, very happy. People, very nice too. The only issue I had in Greece was I nearly got into a bad traffic accident where this guy must have been doing about 200 kilometers on his motorcycle and overtook me on the slower side, the right-hand side of the road. Very, very dangerous. Came that close to a terrible accident. But other than that, great country. But I had to choose between that and another one. And this other one is magnificent in its own right. Its culture was so different, but the atmosphere there was so attractive. The activities that we undertook in that country were just great. We once went to a great hammam, a luxury hammam, and were just treated royally. We also went into the Atlas Mountains, so now you know which country it is, into the Atlas Mountains and had breakfast with a local family. We also attended a great show in Marrakesh. We had all the people in their authentic costumes. We saw the different tribes represented. We enjoyed their music, a horse riding show, and the food, excellent. And that is the country of Morocco, which I highly recommend a visit to. This next country encapsulates the full spectrum of the ancient and super modernity on the other side. From the people rowing their canoes, taking wide-eyed tourists up tributaries, to the Three Gorges Dam on the mighty Yangtze River. So now you know I'm talking about China. Then there's the Great Wall, the architecture of Beijing, and phenomenal architecture of Shanghai, which I rate one of the most beautiful cities in the world. And the millions of tourists, local tourists, Chinese tourists, visiting the country in wide-eyed wonder. This country has so much to offer. Our visit to the mausoleum which housed the Terracotta Army, was just something unbelievable to know that these artifacts have been buried for so long. This country, including this Great Wall, has so much to offer, and it is well worth visiting. Well worth visiting. China, number 8. And now the number 7 position. This country is enormous. Most of its population live on its vast coastline, which is stunning, with endless white sand beaches as wide as you can imagine. Its cities are magnificent. They play cricket, and they're well known for their tennis too, both sports that I love. If I'd thought about it more seriously, I could have considered emigrating to Australia. So that's the number 7. When there, we went to an island, a sand island called Fraser Island, which actually permits planes to land on its beach to take tourists there. That is located just south of the Great Barrier Reef on the eastern coast. Wonderful country, wonderful country. And what really impressed me was the people's attitude. They love life, they live it fully, and they love the outdoors. So that's my number 7. Number 6, stiff competition for this slot, because the 2 countries that I already considered are already contrasting, except for one area, value for money. On the one hand, I have Portugal, with the great cities of Lisbon and Porto, and the beautiful small mountain towns, and the incredibly alluring Algarve and their beaches. The food, the people, just beautiful, Portugal, and great value for money. On the other hand, there is Thailand, much further away and with less in common than Portugal. Again, great value for money. Everything there is inexpensive, and yet their cities are super modern, their malls are great, everything that you want is available there. And of course, the cuisine. The cuisine really is unbeatable. So after this toss-up, which was really, really difficult to select, I will go with Thailand. Worth visiting, worth visiting. Especially the smaller towns. Bangkok is great, but a place like Chiang Mai is just absolutely captivating. Number 6, Thailand. Number 5, if there is a single country whose entire length and breadth inspires the imagination through its history, cuisine, beautiful sights, mountains, rolling hills, it is Italy. A country that offers so much. From the Lake Como district in the north, through Venice, the enchanting Cinque Terre on the Riviera, through Rome and the other magnificent sites, down to the boot of the heel and the toe. It is Italy. History, magnificent architecture, sculptures, everything that inspires. And if you listen to their music, well, you know, Italian music is really, really special. So I say Italy has to occupy that spot. Number 4, the common answer to a question, which is the most popular country in Europe, will yield one answer. from the average person, and for many, a seasoned traveler. That is Spain. And Spain occupies my number 4 spot. I love Spain because of its beauty, the music, the flamenco, and also, I know some people don't like this part of it, but there is a great appeal for the matador and the bullfight, particularly in the south. Beautiful beaches, great architecture, and you can't go wrong with their food. The weather is always fantastic. Can get very hot sometimes in places like Seville and even Madrid, particularly in the summer. But great, great country. It's just a feeling about Spain that for me goes back many, many years. Spain, number 4. For my number 3 country, I confess to a bias towards this country because of its impact on my homeland and the region where I was born through history at the time of the discoveries of the New World. It's left its impact in the style, language, cuisine, even the music to some extent. And that country is France. Now, I love France for several reasons. Everybody loves Paris, and so do I. We've been there many times. But it's not only Paris and the major sites that exist there. It is the rest of the country. The rolling hills covered with the vineyards, producing some of the best wine in the world, from the Alsace region in the northeast to elsewhere in France, the Burgundies and the Bordeaux's. It is just absolutely wonderful. I simply love those small villages, which I found so clean. Many of them are award-winning as well. I particularly like the Dordogne region in southern France. But for me, France is special. And when I'm there, I get to practice the little bit of French that I know, making it even more wonderful for me. So France, number 3. Now, many people will find my choice for the number 2 spot, very surprising, because it doesn't really appeal to those seeking bronze bodies lying in hot sun on beaches somewhere. No, I choose Scotland because it really pulled at my heartstrings when I first visited not that long ago. And I regret that I didn't make a choice to visit much earlier on. Its beautiful lochs, glens of the highlands and lowlands, its spectacular coastline are just some things to behold. But this doesn't even match up to the friendliness, hospitality, and kindness of its wonderful people, which I found throughout that country. So for me, Scotland, which does also impact me in a personal way, because my father's ancestors came from northern Scotland, it is just a country that is special to me, Scotland. My choice for the number 1 spot is probably a country that is not top of the mind for the vast majority of people. But for me, and me personally, Israel is a unique country that I have no choice but to place in the number 1 spot. Having spent 3 months there immersed in their society when we lived in Jerusalem, its capital, I can honestly say there is no country on earth like Israel. The Arab people we met, as well as the Jewish people, were all so nice and hospitable to us. Of course, the main reason why I attach this most special connection to Israel is the fact that Jesus walked in that country. And for me, that is of utmost importance. But it's a country, while seriously in conflict and enshrouded with controversy, actually, for a very long time, it is nevertheless a country that holds so much that impacts humanity globally, it is worth a visit to. So, number one, Israel for me. There you have it, guys. Simply my personal opinion of the top 10 countries that I have visited, having gone to over 70 countries and territories worldwide over time. Now, everybody's opinion differs, but I hope you do appreciate my ranking and at least find fun listening to my opinion. It's amazing how people's opinions differ, and I appreciate that. For example, I looked at someone's recent YouTube video about Italy, in which they said Italy was the most overrated country in the world, and to which I totally disagree. For example, and a small example, yes, of how one gets a feel for a country. We went to a small mercado or grocery stop to buy wine and bread and stuff like that. And we're just putting it in the car park, when comes running this gentleman to us. He happened to be the entrepreneur, the owner, bearing a bottle of wine as his thank you for us patronizing his business. And I found that very endearing. I'll never forget that. So, people's opinions differ. So, thanks for watching, guys, and see you in another video.